we're there. And perfect
What's up,
timing because
everybody?
the music just ended.
I gotta pull up the stream chat.
All right, guys, as always, just a friendly reminder this is the video and the stream is more of a supplemental portion of our podcast. We're recording the podcast. So you might see you might see us like stop and maybe reread something like an ad read because we'll mess up, or an intro or an outro or something like that. But we try to keep the podcast pretty organic. And if you guys have any questions, please leave them in chat or leave a comment down below if you're watching the on-demand version of this podcast. Also encourage you to follow us on our social media platforms. You can find them all on agm.cx, as well as, again, hit that like and subscribe button on the video. Subscribe to our podcast on your favorite podcasting platform, whether that's Spotify, Apple Podcasts, I would say Google Podcasts, but that's going away soon, and Amazon Music. I believe
They know that. They listened to last episode.
and Amazon Music. So be sure to go check those out. And like I said, any questions that you guys have, please leave them in the comment section. Or if you're joining us on the live stream, feel free to hit us up in the chat in the live stream. If we don't answer your question right away, I promise you we will get to it at the end of the podcast after we've stopped actually like recording for the audio portion of the podcast.
Yeah, and we could shoot the shit at the end too if you guys want.
Absolutely. So again, appreciate you guys stopping out. Appreciate you if you're watching this after the recording. Appreciate you dropping by and watching the VOD. Really means a lot to us. And let's go ahead and get started. But before we do, wow, do I have a bunch of background noise? Can you hear the background noise in the back?
I do not hear. Can you talk for me?
Yeah, I can talk right now. It's fairly quiet right now, but wife and son are messing around in the kitchen right over here. So hopefully,
we might hear him. That's all right.
Hopefully, in the next 6, maybe 7 weeks, I'll have my own office, and we won't have to worry about this background noise issue and me being in the middle of the house. So that'll be really good. All right, let's go ahead and dive right in. Let's hit it with the intro in 3, 2, 1. What's up, Game Geeks and Tech Junkies? Welcome to A Gaming Moment, a weekly podcast about everything gaming and streaming related, including the news, tech, and software behind it. Be sure to follow us on TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram so you can engage with us, as well as find out when we're streaming the podcast and get a first listen before it goes out across all of your favorite podcasting platforms. I'm Dagan07, and with me, as always, is my good buddy, hetero life mate, Wild. Wild, how the hell are you doing this week? It's been crazy for both of us work-wise.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm on a downhill for the working hours at the moment, so that's good. Got a couple days off here, so that's all right. Ready to another podcast cranked out and talk about some big topics this week.
Huge.
Got Apple Vision Pro. I mean, Apple comes out with a brand new product in a market they've never been in. That's a big story. We'll talk a little about that. We don't have a ton on that yet, but it's a big topic, and we'll be following up definitely on it as we go here, because kind of a game changer. So we'll see how that goes. Another big topic, and we've been on this topic a bit. Twitch streamers leaving Twitch, and we got a huge Twitch streamer leaving Twitch, and that's Pokimane. Great streamer. She's a sweetheart. I love everything about her. I don't watch her a lot, but I know of her, and she's just a splendid individual all around for everything. So if you ever need draw on some inspiration for streamers, she's one of them. Anyways, then we're going to move on to Quest 3. Talk a little bit about that when the effects it's having for Meta. Kick.com had a bang in January, so we'll talk about that. And talk a little bit about the Modern Warfare Season 2, Warzone Season 2 content drop, and what's coming up with that as the COD players we are. And so we can go ahead and spin right into that. Oh, I'm sorry. We also have just a cool piece of technology I ran across as I just built a new PC more or less here in the last month. I've decided to keep air cooled on my PCs, and that's kind of a downside. Like if you want some bling and you want some cool shit on your PC, like the water cooling ones, they got the little screens on them. But now there's an air cooler that's got a screen. So we'll talk a little bit about that a little bit more in the banter. Um,
Yeah, absolutely. But let's go ahead and talk about the Apple Vision Pro. So, the Apple Vision Pro has officially launched here in the U.S. and it's marking a significant moment in the industry. Priced at $3,500 for the base model with 256 gigs of storage, like it's not cheap. It's not for your average consumer, and then it just gets even more expensive after that for models that have more space in them. $3,700 for a 512 gig and a $3,900 for 1 terabyte's worth of space. So some really cool stuff. Marquise Brown Lee came out with a really cool video of showing how to set it up. Like it has like this facial recognition software that was really cool. Like you can it basically helps you create your own avatar within the platform, and I thought that was really cool because that was like the most it takes away some of that cartoonishness that we see in a lot of the headsets nowadays. And for me, that was really cool. Wild.
yeah, it taken away from meta, which you have to go in and kind of draw yourself in the traditional way, like everyone's used to. Yeah, my face kind of looks like this. My facial, hair looks kind of like this. I got chubby cheeks. I got this color eyes. But this just scans your face, and then I won't say it looks like it's exactly like you. It kind
It's
of
really close. It's really
gives
close
you like
though.
the Disney character
Ver-
treatment. Like you look pretty nice, right? So it does that and represents you really well. So pretty neat. The Apple calls it their persona.
yeah. Woo. It doesn't support glasses. We talked about this before. Like, it's not comfortable if you're a glasses wearer. But again, we mentioned this in an earlier episode of the podcast. But offers from Zeiss Optical. They have inserts like readers that are $100, or you can get prescription like lenses made for it for like $150.
Yep.
It comes with 2 headbands, so a solo knit headband, so like just like a singular headband that goes around your head, and then the recommended dual loop headband for enhanced comfort, and that's the one Marquise Brown Lee was using in his video. Like it looked pretty comfy.
Yeah, it looks
And
soft. Nice.
yeah, it has a nice little pad on the back side of it. Some of the optional accessories they have, a $200 Apple travel case. Like, man, that is. I tell you,
I reckon you can build your own case from a Pelican box
for
for
half the
far
price.
less. Yeah, for far less.
But I
It's not
mean,
gonna be as cool, but whatever.
we're talking about a company here that sells $1,000 monitor, and then they want to try to sell you $1,000 monitor stand to hold said monitor. I mean, Apple just thinks they
Yeah,
can charge anything that they want, and then
they probably get it.
yeah, they probably get it. And then they have a $50 Belkin battery holder. Again, you could probably find something a little bit cheaper. But it is powered by Apple's M2 chipset, so like the same chipset that powers a lot of their more budget friendly quote unquote MacBooks. It's not like the
Yeah.
M2 Pro or anything, but the M2 chip is a super powerful chip, like even for like video editing and stuff. So obviously, like the graphics rendering and stuff on it has to be pretty high, and the amount of graphics data that it's got to process. Because I was watching another video of a guy who had basically he was watching basketball on like a big screen, and then he had another screen kind of off to the right that was like another app that had all the scores and stuff going on, and then he had another app on the left side of the main screen where he was watching like it was like FanDuel or something, where he was watching like live bets happen as the
Yep.
game's going on. So I mean, it's really cool from like a multitasking standpoint, or I mean, potentially even getting rid of monitors altogether if you feel comfortable wearing a headset all day
Kind
while you
of.
work.
Kind of. So there's some limitations there. I'll talk a little bit about that. But they got almost a 4K LED, OLED micro display for each eye. So that's massive resolution. You're talking double. Like a Quest 3 basically in each eye. So so pretty good. The quality looks phenomenal on point. They got it with their own control iOS, or excuse me, they control it with their Vision iOS. They control the headset with their Vision OS. It has eye tracking and hand tracking, and you kind of do everything with gestures. So there's a little bit of a learning curve there, and I don't think it's probably any different than picking up an iPhone when you never had an iPhone. But hopefully they walk you through it a little bit better, because I know when I got my iPhone, I had to go online and find a YouTube video. I was like, how do I open my apps? How do I get back to my apps? Like, there wasn't like a tutorial in the beginning, and so
You
I
mean you
hope they
don't
do
know?
better.
You mean you don't
I
know,
didn't
Wild?
know. No, I didn't know. I 13 years I was able to skip iPhones. So, but yeah, so it supports a lot of Apple apps and iPhone apps and iPad apps, and lets you do multiple windows. But if you use your headset, so they got a feature where you're looking with the Apple Vision Pro, and you look at like your MacBook, you can like take over the screen, and it'll black out your screen, and it'll put it up right in front of you, and it's kind of floating in front of you, and that's pretty cool. But you're
Mm-hmm.
limited to one screen,
Ooh.
so there's some of that. Talking about that, Marcus talks a little bit about that. If a lot of times they use multiple screens for like video editing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I generally just use one, but at this point, but I don't make videos like Marcus, so we'll just leave it at that.
I was
And so there's some limitations there, but pretty neat. I almost think of it as like a new monitor, a very expensive monitor for your. I could see it. I could see people using it for that. So
I mean,
go.
going back to what you were saying about Marquise Lee and the video editing thing, like that literally had just crossed my mind. Was like, man, think of the things that you could do from like a video editing standpoint. Just a lot of you guys might know that I do a lot of the video editing here for the podcast, and then both Waldy and I share the podcast editing duties. But like I can't live without two screens. Work, productivity. If you can have multiple, say like 4K resolution, like virtual screens, I mean, man, that's a game changer when it comes to productivity. And all you got to do is move your head around. That's
Yeah.
ridiculous. And if you're connected to your MacBook or your insert Mac computer product name here, I mean, you don't have to rely on all that processing power from your computer. So that might also help speed up your rendering times and stuff. So it's really cool. It's pretty revolutionary. I think there's still a lot more that they're gonna roll out with. Again, being able to have like multiple screens for like your tablets and your phones and stuff. I think that'll eventually roll out. I think people are gonna start asking for it. But overall, I mean, this looks like a really good product. It's just, so expensive.
Yeah, I mean there are some other things that are kind of weird, like the not having a controller is a little bit weird. Like I get where they're going with that, like the hand gestures, even the hand gestures on my Quest 3 are pretty good, but there's times where a controller does things that you just can't do well with your hands. And one of the things was like text input.
Mm.
So, that's the thing. Like if you have it paired to your MacBook, that's great. Like your mouse works like it normally would, your keyboard works like it normally would. So that works kind of good. And then you can basically live in like a AR, augmented reality, kind of mixed reality world where
Mm-hmm.
you could look down and see your keyboard and your mouse and stuff like that, but have the screen in VR kind of floating wherever you wanted it. So there's a little bit of that. Like you have to like pinch, and you have to look at each letter that you're looking at and pinch to kind of select each letter. But you have to keep your eyes focused on things. So like if you go to shift your thought and look at something else when you're kind of still doing something else, it will take away the power of the pinch to do what you were doing. So there's a little bit of a nuance to the learning curve there, that you have to kind of look at things. You can't really multitask. You need to kind of keep your eyes on task to use some of the hand gestures. So that's a little bit weird. Gosh, I'm a little surprised that there's not um, kind of a controller, but you can use like an Xbox controller, like if you were playing like Xbox, through like a cloud app. I'm sure it was totally possible. You could do that. So a little bit different. So they got some bugs to work out, and we'll see where that takes them.
Yeah, so moving on, probably one of the biggest news items that's come out of the gaming streaming industry in a little while is one of the top streamers, one of the most well-known streamers, one of the most synonymous Twitch streamers decided that she is not going to re-sign with Twitch, and we're talking about Pokimane. And let me get the male machismo thing out the way. She is, without a doubt, she is. A lot of people, a lot of males watch her because she is, the definition of a dime. And she came out with a podcast episode explaining why she's not re-signing with Twitch. And I got to listen to that podcast, and I never really sat down and watched Pokimane's content, any of her streams or anything, mainly because I know how smutty Twitch can be. I know like the chat and everything. The people that come in there, the people that are more interested in like looking at her instead of actually consuming her content. And that's what really turns me away from a lot of these female streamers. Nothing against them. I'm sure there's a lot of really, really good female streamers. And, I never gave Pokimane that chance. But this podcast episode where she talks about this stuff really changed my outlook on her. Not only is she a 10 in looks, but she's a 15 in brains, man. And she's really on top of her stuff. I'm super impressed by the way she conducts herself. And she talks about in the podcast episode, which we'll get down to here in a few moments here, but she talks about like where the streaming industry is going and where Twitch is going, and it's one of the reasons why she doesn't want to re-sign with Twitch at the end of the day. But we'll have a link to the podcast, this particular podcast episode in the episode description. But basically, she starts off talking about like what exclusivity deals are, and it gives you some really good insights into what exactly is a Twitch exclusivity deal. Like, what are the not really the requirements, but what is your obligations? And
no one really talks about that. That's
exactly.
cool that she's ready to lay that out there. And I'm sure there's probably maybe there was restrictions on what they could or couldn't really talk about. So it's kind of eye opening.
She states that up front, like she's like, well, I have to be careful of some of the things I say because my manager and legal and stuff like this. But it was really interesting to know that they're only required the real only requirement is like they only have to stream a certain amount of hours, whatever they're contractually obligated to stream. And it has nothing to do with followers. Sometimes it has to do with how many, like they have a requirement on how many ads they have to run per stream. Stuff like that. But she talks about how Mixer was essentially the first platform to offer these lucrative deals, and we're talking about like the Shroud and Ninja deals back in the day. And she said Mixer, one thing that I did catch, kind of nitpicky by me, but she did say Mixer was started by Microsoft. It was not. It was originally called Beam.io, and it was started by two other guys. Like 2 years prior to it, they came out with that faster than light technology, which is what really sold to Microsoft. And then Microsoft basically they rebranded the Mixer right before the Microsoft purchase. But that's a story from another day. But she goes into detail on what the contractual obligations are. She talks about how some of these contracts give peace of mind because content creators know, like, okay, this is how much money I know I'm going to be getting in. But she says that it puts a bad mindset in creators because creators focus more on reaching their contractual hours, but not focusing on the quality of the content or growing their brand across other platforms. And she talks about how she had times where she wasn't excited to stream. We've seen this where Pokey has taken, 6 weeks off or something like that because she was not in the right mindset. Because of that, I have this contractual obligation that I have to stream. I can't be, it puts a mental block on creativity and things like that. And she talked about how she got burned out. And a few of the reasons why she's not re-signing with Twitch is, like we talked about last week, Twitch is not doing lucrative deals anymore. They're not a profitable company, so they're trying to reduce or get rid of the amount of lucrative deals. And at this point, she says she doesn't want to sign with anybody, and I don't blame her.
Yeah.
She wants to spread her wings.
And we talked about that too in past episodes. That Pokey, it's not really. I think she's got enough money with enough. She's making enough money on her cookies. But no, she's making enough money that she doesn't really. She's not out there struggling trying to get subs and people to donate to her and stuff. Like she's like I'm good. Like I got enough. I don't need you guys, subscribing and stuff. And didn't she? She had turned off her subs, I thought, for a long period of times.
No, she changed the how much the subs were. Like she turned off anything above $5. So she made it so that you couldn't do a tier 2 or a tier 3 sub. So she turned off those subs because she's like, I don't want your money. She's like, I want your companionship. I want your friendship. I want you to help build this community. I want in her own words, she's like, I just want cool fucking people, is what she said. And go ahead.
Well, I'm just getting feedback that the stream, YouTube stream, is very, very quiet.
I don't know.
Yeah, it says you're very, very low.
I'll move you up.
Can you?
I boosted Discord. They might be talking about you.
No, he's talking about you. He says I'm low, but you're very, very low.
Why am I not seeing the chats come through?
Because it's a PM.
Oh. Who was it?
This is my buddy Ambitions.
Oh. Well, open your ears.
I mean, do you have enough volume going to the?
Yeah, I'm yellow in all the audio here.
Okay. All right. Anyway, sorry, I wanted to jump in and address that.
No worries. Another reason why Pokimane is not re-signing with Twitch is she doesn't feel the same way about Twitch streaming. So she goes into a lot of detail on this, and basically she doesn't see the Twitch scene developing into a direction that's in line with where she wants to go. Like during the COVID-19 pandemic, viewership was at its peak. People were actually interested in the games and the gaming content, and the valuations of streamers and the industry as a whole at that point was at its peak. So you had a lot of streamers that had a lot of viewership, and Twitch was giving out these lucrative deals. And this is around the time that she signed her second contract with Twitch. She signed two-year contracts with Twitch. So this was the second one right during the pandemic time frame. And now that valuation of streamers has gone down. And she also feels Twitch has really regressed a lot. She hints about stuff, but never directly talks about the different Twitch metas, such as the hot tub meta that was around, or the censor bar meta that's going on right now, or the ASMR meta. But based on her tone, you can tell that this is not what she wants to be associated with. And many people associate her as, and she says this in the podcast, she's associated as the Twitch girl. And she does not want her name or her likeness or anything about her associated with some of these different metas that's going around. And what I really noticed during this is her tone changed a lot when talking about this. She's really passionate. Like she started cussing more. She started had that grr in her voice, if you will. And she's really passionate about that. Again, this comes around to that point where, like, I completely did not think anything about this, like with Pokimane. I thought she was one of those typical female streamers who's just trying to pander to the male market, and that's completely the opposite. She's talking.
Yeah, about, no, like, she's never been that way.
Yeah, she's talking about, like, I don't want to do that. She's like, the only way for me to grow is to pander to that male audience and do stuff that I don't want to do. And she goes into talking about how she.
I don't know about that.
She goes into talking about how she enjoys being on other platforms and not being tied to one platform. She wants to be able to, go live on Instagram for more than 5 minutes, but she couldn't because she was contractually obligated to not do more than 5 minutes worth of video on another platform, like live video on another platform, because that was her contract agreement. And she still loves gaming. She said even when she's 80 years old, she's gonna be playing games, probably on her cell phone, playing TFT and stuff. And again, I really value what she's saying, and I really have a much different outlook on what she on how she handles her business and how she thinks that she wants to grow. And that was the third reason that she mentioned. She doesn't want to have to appeal to the male audience just to grow. She feels she's really hit her saturation point right now, which is why she wants to branch out into other platforms. And she also just doesn't want to be known as the Twitch girl anymore. She cites there's some things about Twitch she doesn't agree with, and people may associate her because she is, like I said, one of the faces of Twitch. And she felt like the people that hated Twitch, she felt like they hated her as well because she was synonymous with Twitch at this point. And she goes into some things she doesn't agree with. She thinks Twitch as a company is messy. We all know about the artistic.
Yeah, we've talked about that.
Yeah,
talked about that a lot.
The artistic nudity mishap. They came out with they updated their TOS and then regressed that TOS a few days later. She would beg Twitch to do certain things or change certain things, and they wouldn't. And so she's just done being emotionally invested with Twitch's decisions. And another thing we've talked about a lot is how Twitch handles partnerships and bans. There's no consistency with the partnerships and bans, and it's really, really weird. So there's a lot of messiness that she says that Twitch has. She says a lot of Twitch related stuff is corny and horny, and this goes back to pandering to that male audience, and getting people catcalling her in her chat, and that's not something she really wants. And another thing we've talked about is the amount of harassment on Twitch. She talked about how she got hate rated by a guy, and had like 150, 200 people pop up in her chat just shitting on her in chat. But she did go in to explain like she's appreciative of everything.
Yeah, well, that's life. I mean, not to say it's right or that's that should be able to happen, but that's part of streaming, and that's part of you can't be open and streaming and talking to people and only have roses and candy.
Mm-hmm.
You have to deal with the shit sometimes too, and not that she deserves it, but it's a little bit part of the job, and so
it's
yeah,
cost of doing business. But she did make sure she expressed her appreciation of everything she's gained off Twitch, because she's gained a lot. She gained a lot of money, gained a lot of notoriety. She's gained status, but
so
she goes,
let's talk about her future then. Where's she going with her future?
So right now she feels YouTube is probably going to be her best bet at this particular point. She doesn't necessarily go out and say that, but she talks more about YouTube than she did any other platform.
Yeah.
She feels she'll have more people coming through and hanging out on the stream versus like right now she sees like Twitch is, as soon as she goes live, she'll have a bunch of people, and then it'll be completely dead relatively, in her world, completely dead.
Yeah.
But she feels like it'll be more engaging on Twitch because people are going to be there.
Okay.
And then she thinks YouTube communities are more positive than Twitch communities. Facebook, she says this is where streamers go before retiring, which I thought was kind of funny with being that Stone Mountain 64 is still on Facebook, but
Facebook's dying.
Yeah, it's dying. She said TikTok is cool for certain things, but you have to be consistently engaging because of the short attention span that people have on there. And Kick, she says she is not doing. She does not want to stream on Kick because she does not like the platform being funded by crypto gambling companies and doesn't want to risk funneling her community to do these things. So she's being really responsible. She's not thinking about the money, and she's really wanting to take care of her community. So moving forward right now, she's going to stream on other platforms. I wouldn't doubt that you won't see her more on YouTube. She says she more than likely won't stop streaming on Twitch, but she's just not going to be under contractual agreement with Twitch.
Yeah.
So, guys, take your stream to the next level with professional overlays from Nerd or Die. As proud affiliates, we highly recommend their eye-catching and customizable designs to make you stand out. With animated templates, alerts, panels, and logos, you can achieve a polished, high-quality look that wows viewers. Easily customize colors, add your branding, and include the info that you want. Nerd or Die makes it simple to create an overlay exactly how you envision. So treat yourself and your community to an engaging stream centered around a slick, modern overlay. Level up the quality and energy with just a few clicks thanks to Nerd or Die. Just visit agamingmoment.com/nerdordie. What are you waiting for, guys?
So dropping in then for the banter this week, we're gonna talk a little about the Quest 3, and it, you saw this. The Quest 3 came out, and it didn't sell, I think, like they initially projected, and people were kind of saying it's floundering and blah blah blah, and the Quest 2 was outselling it because they, quite frankly, priced the Quest 2 very competitively, with a nice price drop and some, some perks for that. And so for Christmas, I think there's quite a few people that got Quest 2s over Quest 3s at half the price, right? To get the experience, to dip your toes in the VR. It almost seems like the Quest 2 is a no-brainer. So, it seems like that Quest 3 floundered a little bit. But we got the real news saying that Quest 3 might actually be a huge success, and it's actually drove the highest revenue now in 2023, the last quarter of 2023 for Meta, and been a strong, proven, I don't know how I want to say that.
Strong.
It's been has been a strong, proven product, and they're making money off of it. So, record revenue was primarily driven from the sales of Quest 3 during the holiday season. Quest, I don't know where I want to go from that.
I can take it from here.
Yeah, that's fine.
So I'm not surprised by this, Wild. I think people saw the success of the Quest 2 and how good the Quest 2 was, and they did a really good job with upgrades on the Quest 3 with the full color pass through and the updated or upgraded graphics, I should say. Like it's a solid product, and to me, I haven't bought it yet. I know you have it, but it's a solid upgrade from the Quest 2. I mean, maybe it was a little slow after launch, but I think as more people got it and the reviews came out and there was such positive reviews, and it's a low barrier to entry into VR gaming. Plus, you're not again, you are not tied to a computer, which is the main differentiator of the Quests to begin with. I think that they're doing a great job. I think they have a really good viable product for the market that they're trying to hit. The lower barrier to entry for VR gaming, that you don't have to have any fancy special equipment to set up like you do with like the HTC Vive and all that. I think they're killing it, man, and their numbers are showing it, and I'm super happy for Meta in this aspect because we talked about last week, many tech companies are killing off jobs, and this product right here might be saving quite a few jobs at Meta.
Yeah, so I mean, let's talk about that. They've made a record profit of $1 billion. They still took a loss of $4.6 billion in that quarter, which was less than they projected, because they're making more on the headset. So it's not really a profitable arm for them yet, but it's one of those. I think they've understood it's the cost of doing business right now and getting to where they want to be. And as we talked about, Facebook investing heavily into AI and that technology. This is going to kind of work in that now with the Apple Vision Pro dropping. It does a lot of the same things as the Vision Pro. I can't even remember. I think it was a Meta 3 ad, and it had a guy working on a car, and he had like a YouTube video up showing like the procedure, and he had like like a like a step by step how to do things on the thing, and then I think he had like a Spotify or something up on there, and he was like working on the car, and he was like looking down, and he was in the car, and you can see like the video and just like doing a walkthrough fix
Super
on
cool.
his car, like super cool, like technology. But that's a Quest 3 he's using, right? That's not the
$3,500
six
fucking
times
10
right
times.
you
Yeah.
know more expensive headset. So I think it's pretty cool, the technology in these things, and I think it's seen success, and that's only going to be good for the industry. So
And we're
again, guys, if you haven't seen it yet, it's fantastic, and it's one of those things you gotta put it on and try it, because I can't explain to you the difference between wearing the headset and just kind of seeing the content.
and we're seeing how popular it is by just looking at like Steam, right? The
Yep.
Quest 3 is now the third most used VR headset on Steam. So you can
Hey,
see the adoption rate right there.
yeah, 3 months after launch, insane. Or what are
Exactly.
we at? Somewhere in there. Yeah.
The Quest 2 still holds the top spot with more usage, but I mean the Quest 2's been out for what, 2 years, 3 years,
Yep.
something like that. So it only stands to reason that there's more of them out there. So yeah, obviously that's gonna be the higher usage one, but I guarantee you people are gonna start upgrading. Maybe not to the Quest 3, but maybe when the Quest 4 comes out, which would be really cool. And
I'm just I tell people all the time, like, people are on the fence, should I gotta get a Quest 2 or a Quest 3? Like, the Quest 3, the additional money you're gonna spend on the Quest 3 is absolutely worth it. The performance you get, just downloading. Dave, how long does it take you to update that poker app that you love playing on the Quest 2?
oh my
Like
god, I don't want to talk
30
about it.
minutes?
Oh my
It's
god,
it's
on Wi-Fi,
it's
on gigabit Wi-Fi.
dude, it's like 5 on the Quest 3. It's no problem whatsoever. Just bangs the download, installs it, moves right on. It's insane. So
It's so
yeah,
easy.
it's so much better in every way. But if price limitation is absolutely a thing for you, the Quest 2 is great. But if you got the money, buy the Quest 3.
So while what's going on with Kick? Well, I mean, we talk about Kick a lot, but they had a bang in January.
They have bang in January. So we're talking about keeping an eye on the streaming vibe here, as a streaming gaming technology podcast. Um, Kick did have its best month of the year, or best month. Yeah, best. Kick did have its best month of all time in January. So there's a lot of that. You can see a continual growth on Kick's viewers and average time spent and peak viewers. Everything's trending up. So Kick is growing. Facebook is dying. Uh, you know, so
Twitch is
it maybe
floundering.
they're pulling some. Yeah, Twitch is floundering, and YouTube is
YouTube's
still
just
YouTube.
there.
Yeah, so I just
Uh,
wanted to bring that up. Like, it Kick, as much hate or whatever this they seem to kind of gather, they are doing things enough to get noticed and to be increasing their share each month. So
yeah, they're causing
don't
waves for
deny the
sure.
Kick effect. Yeah, for sure.
And then there was a huge content drop for Modern Warfare 3 and Warzone Season 2.
It's
Um,
coming.
it is
I
coming. It is
believe it.
coming.
I believe it comes this week. So you're listening to the podcast, the week
It,
here.
it
It's
might
it's
already be out.
either yeah, it might be out. Otherwise, it's coming in a few days. So
I'm not going to go into too much detail on everything coming out, but essentially they are going to be coming out with 4 core 6v6 maps, a new war map, another zombie story mission. Um, Something I love, uh, the return of Resurgence, Fortune's Keep,
yep,
along with rank play for both multiplayer and Call of Duty Warzone. And apparently the undead are everywhere. So this all drops on February 7th. It's February 4th as of the recording here. So hopefully this will be out before that. But
yep.
uh,
So
that's
yeah,
that's the TLDR version. Definitely go check out Call of Duty's website to get the full rundown of everything that's coming out. There's some really cool stuff coming out.
A big drop. I mean, usually, sometimes the drops are a little bit lame. This one seems a little bit better
We'll
to have
see what they
some
break.
stuff. And a new, well, they got a new vest coming out, that a new ninja vest
Oh boy.
for silent running plus extra knives. That's gonna be brutal and core. That's gonna
Well,
be
Warzone.
this
I
is gonna
watch a
be
guy. His name is Damn Cam or something like that.
yeah,
DAMKAM,
yeah.
and it's only relevant in the fact that he runs around with nothing but a shield and knives and what is it, the nightsticks and stuff.
Duns. Yeah.
No, nightsticks.
Cali
And
sticks.
yeah, Cali sticks, and he calls the knives butter knife juniors. He calls the Cali sticks sawed off broomsticks, and he calls the shield. He's of African American descent, so don't take this the wrong way. But he calls his shield. He says it's made out of negrotanium, which the guy is absolutely hilarious. I literally watch almost all of his TikToks because he does it like in a real story mode. He uses smokes. He's like I'm gonna bring him into the darkness because they know this is where I stay. And then he goes and he beats people down, and then he'll throw the knife and be like, I'm gonna finish him with a butter knife junior and a butter knife junior. And just highly encourage you to go check the guy out. He's really funny. A little bit more on the mature side for the content type, but definitely hilarious, and highly recommend checking him out.
Yeah. So big update coming, and probably worth it in my opinion, to pick up the battle pass. And
So while you found this new air cooler, not an AIO, because as many of us PC connoisseurs, PC building connoisseurs, we love our NZXT Krakens with the screens that has like the RPM and the temperature of the coolant and stuff, and being able to put like an animated logo or some shit on there.
like an
But you
eyeball
found one,
flashing
yeah.
ISR on for your Intel processor, so you know it's warm enough because the ISR on is staying warm.
So it's just some really cool stuff. But we never had that for air cooled systems, and you found
No.
one, man.
Yeah, so let's be honest. The air cool systems, you're cool if you have one, but they're not cool to look at in your system. And now they're putting a 6-inch 1080p monitor inside
Crazy.
on the air cooler. Pretty cool. So uh, I just thought it was one of those neat things. Like they got some real estate. I got a heck of a cooler on my new processor, the 7800 X3D, and I got this big old cooler on there now. Does a great job keeping my temps really nice, and
I got a,
that's a lot of real estate to look at, and it'd be much cooler with a screen in there. So
I got a
um,
question for you, Wild.
yeah,
Are you willing to spend the $325 that this thing is to have
absolutely not.
that cool ass screen in there?
Absolutely not. But someone else is going to make it for cheaper. Now that it's been done, it'll just be done for cheaper. So, but that's a pretty beast cooler to handle. 260 watts of cooling. It's called the Lambton STO 60, and so pretty cool. The cooler's from Germany, available at Case King. Got a couple fans on it. Uh, you know, I just think it's one of those things like you're seeing more and more um, some cool cases that you've seen the glass cases, and
Mm-hmm.
now they're building panels that go into the glass cases so you can have monitor displays inside your case and stuff like that. So, you know what?
Sick.
RGB's out, mini displays inside your PC is in, and I'm
Mark
all
it on your
for it.
calendar.
So,
Wild called
yeah.
it. In the next 2 years, we're going to start seeing more and more cases with removable panels to put screens in it.
Yep. So it's coming. So yeah, I like it.
So we got a few quick follow-ups. I got into a discussion with an ex-colleague of mine from the tech industry, and he posted this, basically shared this article about Nintendo CEO refusal to lay off staff goes viral following industry-wide cuts. We've been talking about all of the cuts happening in the gaming and streaming industry lately with Twitch and Unity and Microsoft, Activision, Blizzard, and all that stuff.
All tech.
And yeah, all tech. And his comment to me, or his general comment, not comment to me, but his general comment was, all CEOs need to think this way. And I had to stop and think for a second. I was like, what CEO wouldn't think this way? We're talking about a company.
An American one.
We're talking about a company here that has more cash than 99% of the companies out there. So they have a little bit of that luxury to be like, okay, we're gonna weather the storm a little bit. Their financial reports for September that they came
Oh
out.
boy,
They haven't done one here.
Can you redo that? Because I don't want to edit that.
You may just start from the tippy top. Or where do you want me to start?
We can just start. Yeah, let's just start the Nintendo part over because that was kind of a mess.
Okay. So we have a few follow-ups for this week. Nintendo CEO's refusal to lay off staff goes viral following industry-wide cuts. I had a ex-coworker of mine bring this up on LinkedIn, and he said all CEOs should have this mindset. And I'm like, I had to stop and think for a second. Why wouldn't most CEOs have this mindset? And then I broke it down. I responded to him in a comment. I was like, look, as of September of 2023, when they had their financial reports come out, Nintendo has over $15 billion in free cash.
Cash. Not assets, not I need to sell this or move this or whatever. I mean, go to the bank, take out cash, liquid assets.
So they have the money to weather this storm, whereas most like 99% of most companies don't. And it was very, like, as I was writing this out, I had to think about that. I'm like, you have to think about how much it costs for them to recruit people, to train people, time to get up to speed with everything. So I don't think most CEOs are like, boom, this is the first thing we got to do. But I also understand that CEOs don't actually run the company. It's the shareholders and investors that run the company. And the most expensive thing that a company pays for is people's labor. So that's the first thing to go. So I had to go in and explain all that. But I just thought it was cool that, Nintendo is like, no, we're not getting rid of our talent because we've invested so much money into this talent. We have the money in the coffers to ride this wave, whatever it is. This wave, maybe their analysts are projecting this wave's not going to last too long. But good on Nintendo for like, yes, we're going to keep our talent. So I just wanted to give a shout out to them as they are like one of the major players in the gaming and tech industry.
Refreshing to have a company that values their employees.
Exactly.
Think about that, America.
And then the 4080 and the 4080 Super details just came out, and we'll cover it a little bit more in the next episode. But
they're not great.
I was about to say, is the 4080 Super really better than the 4080? I mean, I know the price difference is a little bit different, but
the price difference makes it nicer, but performance-wise, it didn't get a whole lot super. I think the statistic I saw was on average 2% better than a 4080. Oof. So yeah, if you're holding out to get the Super versus the 4080, buy the one that's cheapest. How about that?
Fair enough. So guys, don't miss out on all the fun. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram to join in on the conversation and catch a sneak peek of our latest episodes before they hit all major podcasting platforms. Plus, stay in the loop for when we're streaming our podcast live so you can be the first to tune in. Trust us, you won't want to miss a minute of the action.
So jumping in, I'm just going to pull Instagram post I found this week from Dexerto Trending. And just a pretty cool concept, right? Like gamifying housework. And so I don't know, Dave, have you played Power Washing Simulator?
No, but I've seen enough of it.
You know what? I bought it. I actually played it on Game Pass first, which was, no additional cost to me. I bought it for the VR headset. because you can walk around and it's like it's so chill. I don't know. I don't know. It's like that satisfying like um type of game. And so anyways, what they got here is they have like a VR AR augmented reality like overlay that allows you to like vacuum or do chores in your house. And as you do that, you're sucking up either little balls or you're marking off like like up an
Area.
area, with the vacuum head and stuff like that. So it's like now you can gamify your chores and like on top of
Make it
that,
more
like if you
palpable
gave
for
it
your kids.
yeah, if you gave it to your kids and be like, all right, you can obviously see you forgot to do that section over there by the couch. Um it's kind of neat. So I just thought it was a funny little Instagram thing and I think I shared it. Did I share it? Um Either way, you can
It'll be
follow you
shared.
can
It'll be shared.
yeah, you can find it on our Instagram. Which where could you guys find our Instagram? Oh, how about agm.cx for all our
Dang.
socials and all our links. So if you want to find that, it's just one of the interesting things you can do with AR technology. And again, I don't know, didn't think of this before, and it just made me chuckle when I saw it. So we'll share that to you guys.
As a parent, I think this is 100% cool, because I think the kids will do a better job at doing their chores. Plus, you're kind of incentivizing them. Like my kids, they're always like, "Dad, can I use the Oculus? Can I use the Oculus?" Well, now, yeah, you can use the Oculus while you're doing the chores, and then once the chores are done properly, yeah, play your Beat Saber or whatever game you want to play. But this is a game changer for trying to get making getting your kids to do their chores, do it properly, and the incentives that come out of it. I think it's really really cool.
Yep.
So we don't have any questions of the week this week, but we'd still love to hear back from you. We're going to be coming out with a survey, a listener survey, coming out pretty soon to get your feedback on what you think of the podcast. What can we do better? What kind of content would you like to hear? So be keeping an eye out on your social media for that. If you're not following us, hit us up on agm.cx. You'll be able to find all of our social media content there.
Not
And
to not to give too much away, but maybe there'll even be an incentive to have you guys fill
ooh,
that little survey out for us, and maybe you could win a little gift card or something. We'll figure that out yet. Haven't quite nailed down the details there, but
yeah,
keep your
we're
eyes
working
open.
on it. We're working on it. So, guys, thank you for tuning in. Thanks for listening as we went through the whole Pokimane not going back to Twitch. That I think that's a really, really interesting topic. It's really hot right now. Uh, you know, Let us know if you guys are getting or interested in getting the Apple VR headset. I think that's going to be really cool. And also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode. And if you want to take your support to the next level, head on over to our Patreon page, which again you can find on agm.cx. And for less than a cup of coffee per month, we're talking about like less than $5 a month. You can help support us in our journey for the content creation here. You can also show off your love for us by checking out our merch store. And thanks again, guys, for listening in. And until next time, keep grinding. And let me stop Craig.
All right. We have any viewers? Any questions? Anyone have any questions for the podcast? Anything on anything we talked about today or anything else? Gaming, streaming technology? Let us know. We'll stay alive here for another minute or two if you guys wait for questions. If no one's got any questions, then I guess we'll wrap her and call her a night.
And again, thank you guys. If you guys made it this far in the video, on the on-demand video, uh, again, be sure to smash that subscribe button. Find us on all of our social media platforms. Subscribe to us on your favorite podcasting platform. We'd really appreciate it. A little bit goes a long way. And again, if you want to support the podcast for less than just a cup of coffee per month, we'd really appreciate that as well.
That's pretty easy to do with a cup of coffee going for $6.50 the other day at friggin' Starbucks.
Exactly.
Bullshit.
Exactly.
Bullshit. Yeah, I think I wanted to play Ghost of Tabor here, but yeah, I don't know. I'm having a hell of a time with the Apple or with the Quest Air Link.
Yeah.
Do you ever use the Air Link, Day?
Once or twice.
It's not working well for me. I don't know what the deal was.
All right, guys.
I'll have to troubleshoot
We
that.
haven't seen any activity in the chat, but again, thank you guys for hanging out. Thank you for watching the video. Thank you for listening to the podcast. Thank you for watching two crazy dudes passionate about gaming, streaming, and technology. Just kind of do their thing, shoot the shit. And we'll see you guys in the next episode next week. We'll see you then. Thank you, guys.